Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Slither.io. And on this episode, we are going to be continuing where we left off. Now, this is going to be another playthrough of this browser-based game, guys. And in case you may be kind of coming to the series late and seeing this for the very first time, this game is absolutely fantastic. It is very addictive, and it is highly competitive. So I would suggest if you're going to, play this game to do a little bit of research. It doesn't necessarily need it. You can come into this game completely clueless like I did the very first time, but it does kind of help to at least know what some of the rules are. Now, this is a free-to-play browser-based game, and it doesn't require anything. You don't have to download anything. You don't have to use that much of an internet speed, so you can do it on a pretty basic computer. It doesn't require a screen name or a password. It does require that you put a name in, but you can call yourself whatever you want, and you will see like some of the strangest names in here. If you want to call yourself AAAA, you're welcome to do that. There's no restrictions on name, and there's going to be offensive names in here because of that reason. So just kind of be prepared for that. It may not be kid-friendly because you are playing on a multiplayer server. It's anybody can play here, and there's no chat. So there's no way that people can kind of troll you in that regard, but the names alone might be too much for some people to want to be around. But other than that, guys, the instructions, the rules on this are pretty simple. If you hit anything with your head, you're gonna die. So every other part of your body is perfectly safe. Just make sure that if somebody is coming after you, that they run into you and not the other way around. Your head is the only piece on your body that is vulnerable. Now, you could just see right there, I can turn in on myself. I can go over myself as much as I want. I'm not a danger to myself, but other little worms are. The other little little tip that I would give you guys is to kill other players. You can do a speed boost, and you do that by holding down the second mouse button, and you'll see that you go ahead and speed. One of the things that happens with that is that you're basically giving up or shooting out mass, and the whole game is that you want to get as big as possible. That's how you get on the leaderboard. You don't ever really win the game. It's just like a competitive nature to to try to see who can be the biggest worm out there, and just to be the best. Like you're really trying to get to that point. Now, let me see. Oh, yes, we got him. Oh, wow, I got two guys right there. They just don't get too greedy, guys. You get too greedy and bad things are bound to happen. And you guys have seen that many, many times in the past. But yeah, that's how you kill other players. You use that speed boost. You can get big enough to the point where you can actually surround other players completely and then slowly circle inwards. The only downside that I've seen to that is that a lot of people will see that happening and they will try to grief you while that's going on. They will then circle you while you're circling somebody else. Because one of the things is, you may be really big and you may be able to circle that guy 3 or 4 times. But as you're circling that guy, you're really kind of putting all your mass in a very tight bundle, which means somebody else who's only about twice the size or half the size of you, because you're down to like 1/3 your own, mass as you shrink further and further into that circle to try to kill the guy that you're circling. They can trap you because they're able to kind of go all the way around you, almost to the point where you can't get out anymore. And yes, you got to be worried about that. There's always a bigger fish in the sea, as they say, guys. There's always somebody else that's a little bit bigger than you. And even if they're not a little bit bigger than you, they might be a little bit, more aggressive. They might just be in the right position to, do what they need to do to get you. So, yeah, you kind of have to just be cautious, be aware of where other people are and what they're doing around you. Now, there is another downside. As you can see, I am so big, and I'm not even that big, really, guys. I'm only 122 on the rank right now, so I'm not even, one of the largest guys on the board. But I'm so big that I quite literally cannot even see my tail. Right there, I just now managed, because I doubled back to show you guys, that I can't see what's going on behind me. So what you will find out sometimes is that, and this is a trail that somebody left behind them as they sped through the area, that you leave that mass behind you. That's, again, one of the drawbacks to using that speed boost, is you do lose a little bit of mass here and there. This guy might try to grief me here. Yep, he's going to try to get over here. Can I cut him? Oh, wow. almost able to cut him off. There we go. Let me come over here. That dude definitely wanted to try to take me on, and he paid the ultimate price for it. So if I go back, you can see that his little trail is here, but my trail is right up there, right above it. All that mass came out, and somebody else is over here trying to pick it back up. It is a pretty good technique I found so far, that when you play this game, if you just start out, if you're a very, very small person, you have, you have all these different options to you. But for me, I believe the best two options are to, one, either be very, very aggressive, find a big guy like this, and then try to destroy him, because you have almost nothing to lose by going after somebody like that. However, if you want to play it a little bit safer and you're not necessarily looking to kind of take somebody else on, especially if you're kind of new to the game and you're just not quite sure what your role is just yet, you can always follow a big guy. Again, a big guy is so big, they can't see their tail. So a lot of the time, these guys are highly aggressive. Oh, I'm getting greedy here. Don't ever speed into things like that, and you usually survive long enough. But he's going to go after it. I'm going to go back and get a little bit out of here. Maybe go after some of the stuff he left behind. And whatever color is of your worm is what the dots will be as you kind of use your little speed boost. So you'll be able to tell who kind of left that trail and what direction they went into. But yeah, they're so big that they won't be able to see what's going on behind them. And when they do that little speed boost, oh wow, what was that all about? I don't know, but we're definitely going to take all of this if somebody else doesn't come up here. Again, when you see something like this, you have to be very, very cautious, because there's usually somebody coming up from either the other direction. So if you're coming up from the bottom, somebody's coming up from the top, or coming down from the top, I should say, and they may not be paying attention to what's going on. They may be using their speed boost to kind of beat other players there. And so it's an accident waiting to happen. As you're both kind of run into each other, or one of you guys will run into the other, and they get even more loot. The thing about that is it's almost like a pileup, like in traffic, guys. One person gets into an accident, but instead of like in real life where one person gets in an accident, everybody kind of like shrieks in horror. Everybody kind of like giggles in glee that, oh, okay, he's gone. There's a lot of mass there. Let me get in there as fast as possible. And you have even more of a pileup from all of these people just like busting into the scene, trying to get their little piece of the pie right there. And so it just becomes like this mass of worms all, digging into this area and crashing into each other. And then as the mass increases in size, which sounds chaotic, and it definitely is, but as the mass increases in size, so does the amount of people around them all clamoring in to get some of that. So if you're incredibly greedy, is the key, I think, in your downfall, because if you're smart, you'll try to get in there and then get out. Get a little taste, a little bite, get a little bit of your mass going on, and then get out of there and kind of stay around the edges, because a lot of people are going to die. And really, it's going to come down to size usually. A big worm will kind of swoop in and cut the screen in half. He won't be getting any of the pellets, but he'll cut it in half, and then he'll swing back around and pick up the pellets that are like inside of him. And everybody else will kind of go their own way and realize, okay, the party's over, unless other people keep dying. And that has happened. I've seen the pileup be so bad that, for like 5 minutes, the entire area is glowing, because I don't really think any of this mass is wasted. So I pick up mass and I die. All of that mass that I've been picking up the entire time I've been playing is now left there for somebody else. And you might be thinking, that's crazy, right? That means there's a lot of mass on the board after a certain amount of time, because these pellets keep respawning nonstop, So it's not like you're going to be running out of food anytime soon. So the longer the server goes on, the more mass there is available. And if you look at in the top left corner, it actually shows you what you had the longest snake ever, your victory message for all to see. What is it? The best today's longest with the wing. You'll see it right there. Yeah, it's the length right there is the highest somebody's gotten today. And I don't know what time zone they're in when they reset that. What's the 24-hour period that is going on? But lately, the last couple times I've checked that, the number has been just like outrageous. I'm talking about like in the millions, and not just in the thousands or even hundreds of thousands. So definitely, it is possible to get just enormous amounts of mass. And one of the easiest ways to get around people who are kind of griefing you like that is to just double in or double pack on yourself, because they can't go through you, but you can. And if they anticipate where you're going, they could definitely trap you. But most of the time, they're just being, yeah, they're being aggressive. They see you and they see free pellets, free mass on a large scale. Because again, if they eat you, they become just as big as you were, plus what they already had. So it's definitely within their interest to kind of go after you. And one of the things I've talked about many times before in our other videos is that it's almost like prison yard rules, guys. Is if they smell that you're not, being aggressive enough, if they see that you're kind of weak in the regards of going after them because they're bugging you, then they will go after you even more. So if you see an aggressive snake or aggressive worm or whatever you want to refer to these things as, and they kind of come after you a little bit, and you just shy away from them and be like, I'm not looking for a fight, I don't really want to go after you, then they know they have free reign to come after you as much as they want without you being too overly aggressive back towards them. And that is just going to spell doom for you, because they will hound you and hound you and hound you until they finally get a lucky shot on you and kill you. So my suggestion is you need to have a little bit of both. You need to be aggressive, but you need to know when to rein it in, because if you're too overly aggressive, you're going to get killed by speeding around and running into things that you just didn't see coming because you didn't have enough time. You were speeding through it. And you were doing that to kill somebody else when somebody else kind of snuck up on you and used the situation to their advantage. So yeah, definitely it's a combination, just like in life, moderation is key, I think. But it's hard to tell when to do either, so I definitely am still learning the game as I play, but I have been getting a little bit better. I've been getting closer and closer to the leaderboard the more I play. I've gotten to the #1 position a couple of times now. Once I got there, and I literally only had it for, I have to say it's probably like 4 or 5 seconds. But it wasn't like I got to that point really quickly. I did kind of have to earn it and, go through the ranks naturally and go from like, oh, wow, there's a lot of stuff down there. Should we try to go down there? Nope, there is already somebody down here kind of snagging a lot of it, but we can definitely go after a little bit of it. Don't want to be too greedy. Yeah, and he's doubling back to make sure he's not missing anything. We can get this over here though if we're very, very careful. Again, if I hit him hit my head on that guy, I will lose everything that I have. I will die. So, oh wow, and he's going to go back into there. Should we try it? I guess we can try a little bit of it. We'll definitely get just a little smidgen. I don't want to be too greedy. It doesn't seem like he wants to be too greedy either. So he's kind of saying that, yeah, we're going to get a little bit of it. But I think he killed that. So, like I said, as long as you aren't going to try to get everything, just don't try to be that guy who swoops in on somebody else's kill and take all the little dots. Because most of the time, from what I've seen, those people who do that, they either get out, and they are incredibly lucky to do so, and then they die almost immediately because they're still speeding by a lot of other guys who are all coming in and clamoring in to get their own little piece of the pie. Or the more likely is that they crash into somebody almost immediately because there's like 16 guys all heading in from every direction around you to get a piece of that. And then those guys die, and then more guys come in, and more guys come in, and more guys die. And like I said, it's just a horrible mess of neon lights all over the place, but it's highly enjoyable, guys. I don't know what it is about it. There's no music in the game. There's no sound effects whatsoever when you pick up the pellets. Like I keep thinking in the back of my mind, like Pac-Man, when I eat these things, like nope, 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 nope. Like those kind of sound effects from the game, but they didn't put any in, and I kind of wish they did. But then at the same time, if they had, I don't know if it would have gotten annoying. Like it would have to have been the right sound effect. Like Pac-Man has the right sound effect. You can eat all the pellets you want, and somehow that noise just doesn't really, grate on your nerves. This doesn't really quite get to you. But there are other games out there that I've heard sound effects for, and it's just kind of like after like 30 seconds, you're like, oh, please turn that off. I am so over it. It was neat for a second, but it's not neat anymore. So, they would have to have been the right one. And maybe they just decided that instead of trying to find that magic sound effect that everybody kind of, knows and loves, they're just like, we'll kind of stay away from the sound and just give you a game that's just fun to play. And there's another game out there that's a lot like this one. This is like a Gar IO, and that one is it's different in a lot of ways, but it's close to it because in both games you're collecting mass and you're trying to become the biggest guy on the board. The main difference I've seen with that one versus this one is that one has it where when you become big, only other big mobs can really challenge you because mass is everything in that game. The bigger you are, the more creatures or more people, the blobs you're able to eat because if you're big and you're slightly bigger than they are, you will just eat them. That's how it works in that one. This one has a little bit more skill involved because even a freshly, minted new worm who's just kind of spawned into the world is still able to. Wow, what killed this guy? I don't see anybody up here. Nobody's eating any of his stuff. That is kind of interesting. I don't know what he must have ran into, but whatever it is, it didn't decide they wanted any of his stuff. So that's it's more for me, I guess. But yeah, even somebody who's brand new to the game, like those little guys down there. And in fact, the case is most of the time, the little worms that just got into the game, they're usually the worst. Oh crap! We need to get out of here. What are you doing, dude? What on earth were you doing? He just went in there to die. Maybe he thought there was an out there, but no, he could have killed me. But like I was saying, guys, the little guys, they can be so nasty because they have nothing to lose and they just go in there and they wreck you. But in a Gar IO, that's not the case because it really is like size meets everything on that one. So I kind of like the playthrough on this one because if you come at the server or go onto the server, I should say, at a later time in the day when people have been on for a while and there's a lot of players who are really big and they've been going at it for no. Wow, if he had been a little bit more aggressive, he would have totally got me. And this guy is definitely being a little bit more aggressive. So we need to get out of here before we die. Whew. Okay, this little guy here, I don't like him. I don't like having a little guy next to me. Makes me nervous, guys. Makes me nervous. I'm number 16 on the leaderboard already. Jeez, didn't even notice that. Number 15 now. Where are we at? We're getting closer and closer to the center. And as you get closer and closer to the center, in case you guys are wondering how I know that, there is a little map in the bottom right corner. Little, radar type thing. And it kind of shows you where you're at. And I got to be very careful because somebody killed this. And he went up. So all this is going to be mine. Now, he's going a little slower than I am. So I kind of have to be careful where big guy kind of swooped in and took the rest. So I need to be very, very cautious about that. But the center is usually the most dangerous area. You do not want to be stuck in the center if you're not ready to be aggressive. If you're looking for an easy time to kind of just come through and play the game and just eat little dots, head to the outskirts. That's going to be the best bet for you. And this guy, oh yes, I killed him, but he had very little mass left. So there's not a whole lot he could have done about that. As I said before, when you use your speed boost, you use your mass. And if you're not big, if you're very small, you'll use too much mass to the point where you get back to your beginner size and you can't speed up anymore. So if you're trying to go after a worm that's bigger than you and he sees you coming and he's able to use his speed boost, he's going to be able to use his speed boost long after you're not able to do so. But you're going to cost him a little bit of his mass to do it. And that's why I was saying what's one of the smart things to do is if you're small, follow a big guy because he's eventually going to use his speed boost. In fact, most of the time as a big guy, you're going to use it a lot more often because you're a target. People know who you are. They see you and they're like, oh, that's a lot of mass, and I want a good portion of that. I'm gonna let him out. I'm not gonna be too aggressive on that one because he did kill that guy, and I got a little bit of that mass. So I'm gonna be a little grateful and try not to be too greedy. Definitely, greed is the thing that will kill you on this one. I'm number 6 on the leaderboard, guys. We are doing absolutely fantastic. I think I'm going to keep heading to the outskirts, try to stay away from the center. I know I have done playthroughs where I've played really aggressively, and I'm going to do more like that. I'm going to do some where I just, no matter who I see, we're going to kill. Like, we're just going to do it or we're going to die. But on these last ones, I've been trying to do a combination of the two and seeing which one kind of works out the best. Like, do I play it cautiously the whole time? Do I play it aggressively the whole time? Or do I play a combination of both aggressive and defensive, and get to be number one. And I think that's been the case so far. The more cautious you are, you don't really start picking up those dots fast enough, and eventually you meet somebody who's more skilled and in the right position, and just the right situation where you're surrounded by stuff just out of happenstance. There's been plenty of situations where I am going through, and all of a sudden the map is just cluttered with worm after worm after worm. And if you just had a little bit more room to work and move around in, whoever got you wouldn't have never even come close to getting you. But because you had no room to move, there was giant worms above you, giant worms off to your left, giant worms off to your right, and the only way you could go is down. And there just happened to be a worm that sped right in front of you at the right time and got you. That is a factor in this game. That's something that's going to happen if you kind of go into the heart of the map, which is the center, and get in there where all the action's going. But on the other hand, if you don't get in there, you're not going to make those big plays, you're not going to make those big kills, and you're probably not going to be a fairly decent sized worm anytime soon. And those playthroughs where I've done that, where I've just kind of played cautiously and stayed on the outskirts for long periods of time, I get to be about a decent sized worm. Not a big worm, not on the leaderboard, but somewhere around like 60 or 70, on the placement of the ranks, before somebody takes me out, because they're just bigger and they're coming out there maybe to take a break. That is one of the things about this game is it's just like with anything that's kind of stressful, is that if you don't take a break from it every once in a while, it's going to become too much for you. Like with a movie, they go through these lulls in action where it's a lot of action, and then all of a sudden there is a decent amount of like everything stops. Everybody kind of takes a breath. People are able to catch their breath basically in a movie. The audience basically is who I'm going, or what I'm referring to. They're able to catch their breath, kind of regroup, and get ready for the next action movie. And for those movies out there who do nothing but action, they're usually referred to as like you're on the edge of your seat the whole time. That is cool for certain movies, for certain audiences, but it's not something that everybody wants. Like people want that lull to kind of recover from. It's the same thing in this game. If you don't recover from that, you're going from one situation to the next situation, all of them kind of stressful, all of them kind of getting your blood pumping and your mind racing, and you're kind of reacting to things because you're going so fast, you don't have time to do anything else other than react. And if you're always reacting, then you're never quite, thinking about your next move, never quite thinking about what may happen here in a second, what you should do. Should I go out and maybe get a couple more, dots here and there? Should I go and maybe see if I can attack somebody? You're just kind of reacting to what's going on. And eventually somebody else you're going to happen upon is, looking ahead and kind of seeing where things are and deciding for themselves that, oh, maybe I should go after this guy. I'm in a good placement for it. And it seems like a good idea. And then they're going to hit you. So, yeah, I don't really think being one way or the other is the best method, but I would love to hear your thoughts on it, actually, guys. One of the things about this game is there are so many different play styles. I have seen people who are just aggressive all the time, and they seem to do fairly well, but that's who they are. Like they know that skill. They're very, very, experienced at that. And if I went over there and got some of that, I probably would get up to number one on the leaderboard, just getting a little bit of those mass right there. But I saw all the big worms over there, and my motto, guys, as you guys probably are very aware of by now, do not be greedy. Don't do it. Don't fall for the easy mass. Work for it. Get your mass where it's safe. Get in, get out, and keep moving, and you will get eventually to the top of the leaderboard. I'm number 3 right now, guys, and you have seen it from the very beginning of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and what situations I go for and which situations I kind of avoid. Again, it's just moderation, trying not to try to get everything. And it's hard. It definitely is. When I first got into this game and I saw one of these like huge, I'm not talking about like the small or medium-sized worms. I'm talking about worms like my size or even bigger, die right in front of you, and it just shines so bright. I don't know what it is about us, as a human race, we are we are attracted to shiny things. As kids, you'll see it in like babies when you put them like in the driver or not the driver's seat. If you put a baby in the driver's seat, there's something wrong with you guys. But no, as you put them in the car and you put them in their baby seat, you'll see like their eyes when you're driving down the street. They will be kind of glued to the lights. They'll be watching the lights. They're not watching anything else. There's nothing out there for them really to see because they're sitting so far down. But even as they get older, they're still kind of attracted to lights. Even adults are attracted to lights. We're attracted to shiny and bright things. And this guy's being a pain in my butt. So I almost want to go after that guy. But he cost me a little bit of mass right there. A little bit of mass. And I think now he's going back there to snag it as well. So that dude's a butthead. The new version of the D. So I don't know. I don't know if this is the a guy who maybe died recently, and this is his like comeback. And I'll get some of that. Maybe I shouldn't have though. Let's see. Can I get this? Maybe no. There are certain ones on here, certain little dots that, as you can see, actually run away from you. The other ones just sit there. Some of them will kind of roam around a little bit. It seems like each one has a little bit of gravity. And as there's more and more there, they kind of pull and tug at each other in a unique kind of way. But a horrible place to be is kind of like where I'm at right now. If you were next to the bottom of the map or to the sides of the map, that is a wall that you cannot pass. So that's one less direction you can run into run away from an enemy if they happen to be chasing you. So that's just another way they can trap you and then surround you and you'll get your mass that way. So you want to have the freedom of movement, which is why I try to stay away from the center as much as I humanly can once I get to this size. But like I was saying, when you see that shininess, something in us, some innate, caveman, I don't know what it is, it will see those shiny, lights, see that sparkling, glitter, and just be like, I want that. I don't know why, but it's there. So when you see these people get destroyed and all of those bright neon lights just kind of sitting there taunting you, you want to go in there and you want to get as much as possible. And then add on like the pure joy of seeing your guy go from, a very small size to being just massive in a matter of seconds and bigger than you've ever been before. Just kind of enhances your need to do exactly that. And you get overwhelmed with the situation. You're like, I gotta get more, gotta get more. Like there's more there in front of you at that moment than you've ever gotten in any of your other playthroughs. It's like that enticing to you. And so you go after it with a vengeance. And what you end up doing is going after it a little bit too much, just a little bit too long. If you had broken off just a second before, even a millisecond before, you might have enough time to survive all these worms coming in. But because you want that very last bite, that very last piece, so where there's none left, that you don't feel bad that you left some behind you, you end up staying just a little too long, and you end up dying because of it. So this guy is, I don't know if he was going after me or what, but like I said, when you become big enough, being able to kind of circle back in on yourself becomes a very useful tool because you become a wall in itself. The guys, they can't get around you. They can't speed all the way around and then you went, past yourself and they're like, okay, I'll just go back around to them. No, to get it back around, me, you're going to have to speed for a long time. And when I see you coming, I'll just be able to kind of double back in on myself. And now you got to go a mile and a half around me to try to attack me again. And if I see you doing that, chances are I'm going to get very, aggressive towards you. And because I'm so big, I can just surround you. See, now I could go after that other little piece right there. Is he gonna just crash into me? But he didn't, but this guy did. So we're gonna take that. We gotta watch out though. Again, don't get greedy. Should we go after this? I guess we can go after this. This seems pretty safe right here. And we're gonna go back this way. So I didn't get all of that mass, but I got enough of it to kind of make it worthwhile. And then we're gonna come over here and get this mass, which makes it even better. We are number one, guys. We are number one on the leaderboard, and we're on number one a little bit longer than a couple of seconds. So let's see if we can keep it. We are, however, a bigger and bigger target. So there's going to be a lot of people who are coming after us. I can't believe we made it. Now, if we come after this is going to be a little greedy. Yep, so I'm just going to snag that, and then I'm going to come back and get out of there. I'll let him have it. I knew that was going to be a bad decision, but I was like, maybe he's not coming this way. Again, when you're playing and somebody dies, and you kind of see it, and you're like, okay, which direction do I go, left or right? Do I follow his tail, or do I follow his head? Do I even know which direction his tail was in, or his head? And you don't know which one's longer. You just see the line going in both directions, to your left or your right. You have to make that decision. You cut into it, and then you just start following one of the directions. Sometimes you get lucky and the person who killed him went, to the right, and you're coming in from the other side. And when that happens, oh, this guy's being a butthead, huh? You want to come in here? That's fine. Hi, kill me if you dare. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't kill the kill me if you dare guy, but I did kill this guy who I guess assumed that he could run through me because I ran through myself. But that it doesn't work that way, guys. You can't run through anything other than yourself. If you hit your head on anything other than your own body, you will die. So it's your Achilles heel, guys. Your head is the one place that can't take any damage. And that guy seems pretty big. Actually, he's enormous. He's almost as big as I am. And he's out here on the outskirts of the map. Actually, there's 2 people out here on the outskirts of the map just kind of chilling. Don't know why we getting so many mobs out here, but it's definitely not a good feeling to be surrounded by so many people. Oh, he's going after that thing. Yeah, he's going after that one guy. I don't like being over here next to these big guys. It's kind of crowding me a little bit, and I don't have a lot of room to escape if things go badly. And that guy is using a little bit of his speed boost. Maybe somebody's annoying him. Oh, wow. Look at all the little dudes. Anytime I double back in on myself and I see where my tail was, I usually find a good amount of little dudes doing exactly what I tell you guys, which is to follow the tail. And so it's kind of frightening to go back the way you came, because those little guys back there, like I said, are very dangerous, are very, unpredictable. That's the big word right there, guys. Unpredictable. You don't know if that little dude 10 seconds ago was one of the biggest guys on the map. He knows what he's doing. He knows he has the skill. He has nothing to lose, like I say before, and he just goes for it, and he gets you because he's skilled. Otherwise, you might find that one guy who's brand new to the game and just runs right into you because he doesn't really understand the rules. There is no tutorial in this game. You don't start the game and be like, okay, now what do I do? No, there's nothing like that. You just kind of jump into it, and you're in the deep end. You're in there with everybody else, and you're learning the rules as you go. You're pushing buttons and trying to figure out what happens, and what's the best method to do this, and what are the there's just a gazillion mobs. Can we talk to people? Can we group up together? I mean, is there any cooperative part of the game? Yeah and no, there kind of is. I mean, you could technically help somebody else out. When I use my speed boost, I do leave a trail of breadcrumbs behind me that somebody else could eat. And so if I knew somebody was right behind me as a player, I could speed boost in an area that nobody was at and leave a trail for them to pick up. And, I could share a little bit of my mass that way. But speed boost is, as the name implies, a speed boost. You are going to get way, way, way out of the range, even as a big, worm that somebody can follow, a lot faster than they can pick that stuff up. So you would need to speed boost in like a circle, and there's a good chance if you're doing something like that, you're going to drag the attention or cause the attention of other guys to see what you're doing, and they're going to come over there and try to trap you. They're going to try to get you, especially if they see that you're going around in circles over and over and over again. They know exactly where to be when you come back around, and you'll find that there's like 5 or 6 guys waiting for you in that situation like that. So would not suggest doing that too much. I don't want to hit that wall though, because I think if I hit that wall, I'll probably end up dying as well. Let's see. I need to get away from this area. This is a bad place to be on the outskirts. I'm moving back and forth between 1 and 2 occasionally, not too often, but Jack is right there behind me. He's on the list of getting really close to me. Today, I'm not even close to today's longest length. That is just nuts. I would have to kill not just the top, I'd have to kill the top 10 players to get close to being what that guy had on his board. And I probably have to do that 10 or 15 times. Kill the top 10 players again and again and again. So some of these people are incredibly good, or they just happen to get on at the right time when there's one of those big, 3-car pileups, and there's 50 50 people all rushing in and dying really quickly, and they're able to get a piece of that. Now, normally I would go ahead and end the episode, but I think this is going to be a special episode. We're going to make it go as long as it needs to go before I die, because if I end the episode, the key that I have set for that is F1, and F1 goes ahead and opens up another browser, another tab on Google Chrome. And I'm full screen mode right now. So usually when I press F1, it opens up that other browser, and then I don't get to see what's on this one. So anytime I've ever tried that before in the past, where I tried doing that while I'm playing the game, I don't survive it. I always die, because it only takes a half a second for you to run into somebody. And like I said, the people are very aggressive in this game. And even if there wasn't, try going straight for about 10 seconds, you're going to run into just an enormous amount of stuff. Nobody goes straight in this game. Everybody's doing curves constantly. It's like driving. When you go driving, you're constantly making small corrections and, doing things along those ends. So yeah, he thought he would try to go after me, that soy guy, but didn't quite get there. I do know there's some mass over there to the left, but I think I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not interested in going closer to the wall. I want to kind of go inwards a little bit more. And this guy's still following me, so let's get over here and get it kind of out of his range. He's not able to speed up. Again, I don't want to speed up too much, because I don't know what's over here in this direction, and I am not liking the amount of mobs that are over here at the moment. Get away from me, guys. I know you're looking for a way to get around me. I'm massive, guys. Just take my word for it. Don't come in this direction. Oh yes, you will be mine. It's a nice little free mass right there. No! Oh wow, little dude almost took me out. I could go back and try to get his mass, but I'm not going to. That's just being greedy. And there's a lot of mobs up there, a lot of guys that I don't really want to deal with at the moment. I'm being a little bit selfish by staying out of combat. And, come on, turn. There you go. Whew. Wow, it didn't turn the way I wanted it to. I was actually trying to go right, but I'm glad it went left, because right would not have been a good area. But as you see, I'm going a little bit further in to the center at the moment. And as I do that, we're starting to see more and more mobs, more and more worms that are over here all fighting each other and doing their own thing. And this guy's definitely trying to come in here and snag me, because he was actually surrounding that red guy. But then he got greedy and he's like, oh, look at that guy. That guy's even bigger. I can come over there and get this stuff. Look at that. He is very aggressive, and he just snagged all of that for himself. But like I said, it doesn't take too long before you just start to see people like that bite it. So if you see somebody who's very aggressive and is constantly speeding around, my suggestion would be to try to stay next to them in some regard without getting owned, because they will come after you, obviously, if you're too close and you're being too aggressive to them. But if you can stay close enough to them, they will eventually eat it, and when they do, you're going to get all of their mass. So yeah, it's highly worthwhile for you to kind of watch what other players are doing and just kind of anticipate when you can take advantage of it, because everybody in this game will eventually be destroyed at some point. You can't go on forever. You're going to get tired yourself, or something's going to happen. And I'm going down to number 3 on the leaderboard. So these other guys, they're doing quite well, actually. No. What are you guys doing? Get away from me. Get away. Let's get up here, get a little bit of further distance. I don't like going straight up, but here we go. Got a little bit of mass here. Don't want to be too greedy, so we'll grab that and we'll head out. Actually, we can go back. We can get a little bit more. Oh, man, maybe not a good idea. Let's see. Is anybody else coming over here? Well, somebody else saw the mass, but at least nobody else wanted to risk going close enough to my guy to try to... No, get away. I am making some bad turns here. It might be getting close to where I'm going to bite it, guys. I'm hoping not. I am just enjoying the fact that I have been number 1 and now I'm number 3, but I'm not too far from... Oh, man, these are the names of some of these people. It's just horrible. All right, now we're going up to the top. I think we've been in almost every quadrant so far. I think we started in the top right one, if I'm not mistaken. You guys will have to let me know on that one. And then we went down to the bottom right, and then to the bottom left, and now we're in the top left. So I did not plan that, didn't do that on purpose. I've been going where, the map kind of leads me. I follow the dots where there's dots to eat. I want to eat that while I travel. And then, of course, when people get, owned and there's mass there, I go after that. And then, you're also kind of being determined where you go by who's chasing you and what directions are free. And so there's a lot of random factors in there that kind of play out to push you in a certain direction. But you still get to guide yourself. Like you have that option to say, now I'm kind of trying to force myself to go to the center, and that's where I ultimately want to get. And this guy decides he wants to come after me. Let me make sure he's not a big guy, because if he's big and I double in on myself, he's gonna be able to surround me because I've made such a small little circle, even though that I'm bigger than him. But no, he's not that big. I definitely got him on that one. Okay, so Jack is 28 and I'm at 22. So he has a pretty big lead on me. Yeah, I need to kill like 2 really big guys to get up to where he's at. Maybe not the top players. Oh, look there, we got to number 2. What you can do is just wait it out, guys. Wait it out and wait until they get eaten. Because once they get eaten, wow, that guy is really good about, kind of gliding in and close to death right there. And he just got owned. So let's come over here and get a little bit of that. Not too much. Oh, no. We died. We died, guys. Unbelievable. And that guy is going to get big very quickly. I went left when I should have went right. Otherwise, we would have been okay. But guys, I want to thank you all again for watching. This has been a fantastic playthrough of Slither.io, and I am very proud of my score right there. 22,505.2. Absolutely amazing. I want to thank you all again for watching. If you do enjoy these videos, definitely hit that like button, subscribe. And as always, guys, I'm AC Gamer, and I'll catch you next time. Hey guys, and welcome to the disembodied voice of AC Gamer. We are definitely going to be doing a lot more series in the future, but here are a few of them that you guys might find interesting. Of course, you're more than welcome to check them out. I would love to hear your comments. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. It's definitely the indicator that I use to tell if you guys want to see more videos like that, of that particular game style, of that series in the long run. So when you guys leave comments down, it helps me decide whether we should keep doing it, as well as whether you want to see games like that in the future. And here are a few of them right here. I kind of picked out a few of different genres. We will be doing spotlights for other YouTubers in the future. So if you want to get a little shout out, definitely let me know. If you group with me, chances are you will get a shout out in here eventually. But for now, these are just 4 series that I have that I feel like could use a little bit more attention, and that you guys might actually enjoy as well. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we will definitely catch you all next time.